What is going on, Internet? Eric Van Holt's back again with another e-commerce conversations. I hope all is well on the other side of the Internet. On the other side of the Internet from me, Anthony. What's up, man?
What's up, Eric? How are you?
Doing well. Living the dream, man. Living the dream. It's a little hot here, actually. I'm in Europe. We don't have AC, and it's one of them hot days, so hopefully I don't die.
So yeah, it's hot. I'm in New York. It's hot here in the city, so it's humid. Really feeling it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, let's get into it. Who the heck are you? What the heck do you do?
But yeah, I lead product marketing at Triple Whale. Been at Triple Whale for the last 9 months. Previously, spent almost 4 years at Klaviyo, leading a few product areas in their product marketing team, and have been in the e-commerce space for a bit. So I'm really excited to talk through Triple Whale and what we're seeing, and especially our recent launch of Moby, and just as we're helping our brands gear up for BFCM, what we're doing to do that.
Sweet. How long have you been with Triple Wheel?
It's about 9 months.
9 months. Yeah, new guy. So I'll throw some history. We had Raba, the former, I don't know, CMO. Is that his title
Hmm.
there at Triple
Yes,
Whale?
it was. Yeah.
Help grow Triple Whale on the podcast a number of years ago when he was in Austin. We recorded, and then Triple Whale did a really cool event called the Whaleys. I don't know if you guys still do that or
We do. Yeah, every May.
okay. Yeah, so that's a fun little gathering that went to the Whaleys in Austin, Texas a number of years ago as well, and met Barry Hott
Hmm.
and a few other notable people, maybe even the guy from Portland Leather. So I've
Oh
always
yeah, definitely.
appreciated and admired what Triple Whale has done for e-commerce operators and brand owners and marketers out there. It's been quite impressive to see what you've done. Um, the big news is, as you said, Moby. Why don't you give our listeners a real quick rundown of what the heck Moby is?
Yeah, Moby is a product area that we launched publicly about a month ago, but has been testing in early access for quite some time because we really wanted to ensure get to get it right. And what Moby is, it's an agentic system. So what really that all means is that it's AI tools, it's a set of AI tools that allow you to chat with your data. So we have Moby Chat. It's like Chat GPT, but with real-time business context into your entire business. So every single corner, facet, every platform. So you can ask really thorough, but really easy questions and get really robust answers that are contextually relevant and can drive meaningful outcomes. But what we also built this year and launched with alongside of the agentic system was Moby agents. So these are autonomous teammates that essentially can deliver analyses and insights and even now take actions for you across ad platforms, across your marketing platforms, across any other BI tool, really powering strategies across acquisition, retention, website conversion, business operations. I mean, really trying to think about how can we automate not only just media buying, things we were focused on years ago when Triple L first started, but the entire e-commerce and marketing landscape.
Okay, so I uh, I don't even pretend to be an AI expert. I know enough to just see the opportunity for it. With Moby or your agents, is it like built on the foundation of like ChatGPT, and then you do training on top of that, or what is like the underlying technology behind it?
Yeah, great question. So it's actually built on top of our data warehouse, which we ingest data from now over 65 billion in GMV. We then train Moby to know basically all of the e-commerce benchmarks. So it speaks CAC, it speaks ROAS, it speaks NC ROAS right out of the box. And then it actually works with the best LLMs. So it's we have this unified schema as part of our data warehouse that then is effectively mapping your data so that it's optimized to work with LLMs. So we partner very closely with Anthropic, with OpenAI, but with all of the top providers. And then based on the query that you have or the agent that you're looking to run, we'll work with one of those LLMs that we know will deliver the best output based on what that query is. So it's a really, really smart way to connect your data to AI that isn't just like a wrapper that sits on top of ChatGPT or an MCP that is really just a connection layer. It's truly feeding AI your entire business context. And then because it's also in the application layer in Triple Whale, it's able to you can take action right from the Triple Whale platform. So not only can agents now even turn ads on and off, but they can draft emails for you. And we're going to continue to build on those actions.
There's when I hear something like that, there's my first concern is just the privacy and having all my intimate business data going to obviously with triple well you already know that you're going to be seeing that, but now Anthropic and OpenAI are getting access to that. How do you protect your customers' data to ensure they're not using it for nefarious reasons?
Totally. So we have privacy agreements with all of our partners to ensure that only the data that they've agreed to be shared, that our customers have agreed to be shared, is being shared with them. Also in the private instance that is Triple Whale. So we're not actually sharing like all of your data with Anthropic or OpenAI, but we're giving them the right context based on the prompt that you have. So we're not feeding your data to OpenAI or Anthropic, but you're able to call on those LLMs within the Triple Whale application to leverage the power of OpenAI and Anthropic without fully just sharing your data with them.
So, like, what would be a good prompt to get started with for a client?
Yeah, a hot prompt right now is, hey, what should I do to prepare for BFCM? I need to grow my revenue 30%. And that's a really like your like general prompt. But I can say that we have customers who are doing that today. And because Moby, we have a feature even called Deep Dive. It's like deep research if you've ever used ChatGPT, but it's built on Triple Whale Deep Dive. That then will look across all of your business, create a multi-step plan, and each one of those steps is effectively an agent. Because it's looking at different pieces of data, it's working autonomously to understand the data that's needed based on the question that's asked, and then builds you this really robust plan. And then you can use that plan to say plan for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. We're seeing a ton of really good use cases based on that. We have a lot of other generalist prompts, but I would say we have a prompting guide too. But really right now, right, we're really all focused on BFCM and making sure our customers know what's the right prompts to ask to at least get started. And then you can, of course, have follow-ups beyond that.
Yeah. So you come in here, you have this prompt. What is Moby doing to like walk me through how it's giving that strategic guidance based on the data? Like, is it looking at all the sales for various SKUs? Does it look at like the margin for products? Does it look at what's converted on um, Meta or paid advertising? Like, walk me through like how is it figuring out that answer?
Great question. Yeah. Well, I think the best way to answer that question is probably like starting at what data does it have access to? So what data is it going to look across? And then how is it measuring performance and drawing correlation and then forecasting performance? Uh, so like the data that Moby has access to, you can connect all of your data into Triple Whale. And so Moby will not only look at your SKU by your margin by SKU, your products, your ad performance at every channel, your Klaviyo performance, your attentive performance if you use attentive, but truly every channel after ship, like logistics, like you name it, to then say like, okay, what across your business, what are the biggest growth levers? So what did well for you last Friday, Black Friday, Cyber Monday? And when I say well, it's like drove profit. So had the biggest impact on your margins, whether that could be a product category, whether that was a new ad channel. So not only will it look at last year's performance, but it'll look at this year's performance on, hey, what's been changing? Like say if you started using AppLovin, hey, AppLovin got really big in the last 12 months and you've been really performing well on AppLovin, might be a good time to scale AppLovin and test that for BFCM because maybe you weren't using it last BFCM. So kind of combines all of the data that's in Triple Whale and looks across, I mean, billions of data points, even for individual brands, to understand, okay, maybe what are the top growth levers? And then we have what's basically performed the best, what had maybe the most impact on margin, and then looks across measurement models. So the cool thing with Triple Whale is that not only do we have 8 attribution models built into the platform, including a post-purchase survey that then can help you determine like what's actually driving the levers so that you can feel confident in your data. But we've also introduced MMM, so a marketing mix model that then you can use to say, okay, hey, based on even not just my click-based channels, what was actually driving revenue? So it can look across M&M for the last BFCM, and then eventually can draw correlation between, okay, well, was my correlation in my ad spend relevant to my Amazon sales, and run correlation analyses at a really high statistical significance and confidence rate, and then be able to feel confident in saying, hey, here's what happened. Here's an objective view of what happened, and then give you that view. And then based on your, whether it's your business goals, since we talked about growing 30%, here's what Moby can use. Not only it's Moby's forecasting models that are built into Moby, but also just looking at across your data. Here are the guidance for the levers to pull and the actions to take to hit 30% based on all of these different inputs. So it's like, and you can see even Moby like will have like a thought process that we've added into, we've externalized into the Triple Whale app. You can see the exact thought process that Moby's thinking through, and it really is like a team of people the way that he's thinking through things. And that's the really cool thing that sometimes even blows our team's mind. I think we have multiple Slack channels sharing Moby wins across different use cases, and every single time it blows our minds because it's just AI is rapidly evolving and getting smarter and smarter. And the greatest thing about AI rapidly evolving is that then Moby's continue concurrently getting smarter. So it's a really, really cool way to then look at this recommendation guide, talk with your team about what you should do, what you should test, and then pressure test it across the org.
What you talked about, you plug in like Klaviyo to know. Is it also looking at the ad creatives or the email creatives, like what the messaging was of the email?
Yeah, great question. Yeah, so it looks across all of the creative elements. So down to the colors you use, the copy, the hooks, and tells you because it uses what we call AI vision, and it will tell you exactly creatively what's working in your ads. And then we recently actually just added Klaviyo email performance, so it can run through the HTML and see like, okay, hey, this email creative is working the best, as well as headline, or sorry, subject line and preview, so that you can really feel confident in that, okay, hey, this maybe this email that Moby drafted me, because Moby, for a lot of our agents that are Klaviyo specific, a lot of our customers have asked for inspiration, so Moby will draft them an email. You can feel really confident that that email is drafted fully data backed. Like we can feel really confident that, hey, we should use some fashion of this email, if not the email verbatim, and this could be successful.
How long have your customers been using Moby? And you talked about wins. Like, can you share some? You can anonymize it. Don't tell me the brands, but share some of the wins and the prompts that people are doing. Because I mean, playing for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, that's in November, right? So we don't know if that's going to work or not for another 4 months.
Totally. Yeah, and we have tons of success stories. And as a product marketer, I'd be remiss to not say we have lots of case studies on our website, but really cool use case. I will say that one of my favorites is we had one of our early customers. So they've been, I would say we launched Moby agents and like an enhanced Moby into early access in February of this year. So this was probably in April. They were running, and this is a $100 million brand, global. They were running a 4-day giveaway, and they asked Moby. They ran one of our deep dives. They asked Moby, "Hey, it's the last day of my giveaway. What should I do to adjust my plan? Here's the current plan that I've been doing. What should I do?" Moby gave a very detailed channel by channel budget allocation, and predicted what the revenue impact would be of those budget changes. And they followed the plan to a T, because at this stage they were like, hey, our giveaway is going pretty well. We want to see if Moby can deliver. Every single recommendation followed it to a T. Moby delivered their highest revenue day ever by 35%. It was over $200,000 higher than their previous highest revenue day in history. Insane. Like the RT, like hands down, really cool stuff. We have even a video of this brand talking about it, because we were like, we need to make sure people can see this, because AI is as interesting as it is, sometimes understanding the impact on bottom line is a little bit nebulous. And so we have lots of examples on how Moby is doing that. There's another brand, LSKD, massive fitness apparel brand in Australia, global. I think they have like 50 plus stores internationally now. Um, they've been using Moby to measure ad channel performance and then marketing channel performance. One of their Moby agents that was looking across their marketing channels found over $100,000 in fraudulent spend from people from one of their influencers bidding on one of their terms, so that they ended up saving $100,000. And then over the course of since they adopted Moby agents, their ROAS went up 40%. Like really, really powerful stuff.
What are people doing that aren't successful? Like where are they wasting time or going down the wrong rabbit hole?
Yeah, I think it's when you try to do too much at once. With AI in general, it's starting small, like finding that one use case that you can really master. Like we have a library of now 70 pre-built agents that are from our context engineering team, built in partnership with some of our customers. But 70, it can be overwhelming if you try to adopt all of these at once. Sometimes the agents, while they're pre-built in nature, you want to tweak things to how your business looks at everything. And while it's very easy to customize those agents, starting with one specific agent that you can really hone into your business and feel really confident in is the best way that we're seeing our most successful customers and like continue to grow their business and scale their team with AI. When you try to chew off too much at once, it's really, really hard to be like, hey, am I seeing value with this? I'm not really able to use this agent. I'm not using this one. But starting small and then gradually increasing, whether that's by function. So if you have maybe as someone at your website can your CRO team starts with one agent and then you expand that to your retention team, or you could change it by stage in the funnel. But really choosing kind of where the biggest focus areas are for your business, and then starting with one of those and continuing to gradually expand.
How how is like the pricing structure for something like this? Is so like I think about it. My team, I've got ops members, I've got marketing members, I've got customer service members, fulfillment partners. Like I would assume there's kind of like agents that are geared towards my ops person, agents who are geared towards my marketing team, maybe agents that are geared towards me in leadership. Like each of my team could potentially see value in a various agent. Is Triple Whale like something that's available to all team members, or does it tend to be like the head of marketing or the leadership that uses Triple Whale?
Yeah, great question. So honestly, it's a wide variety of operators and marketers and operate retention marketers. I would say, like while we've focused a bit on marketing and e-commerce, we've as we've grown, we've definitely reached a wider lens of operations in e-commerce, just directors of e-commerce, VPs of e-commerce, not just directors of marketing. And that's really how we've structured our product and how we think about building our product. We have right now agent collections. So we have an agent collections for the creative strategist, for the retention marketer, for the acquisition marketer, the media buyer. We also have for the operations leader, and then for the CRO specialist to really kind of if your ops team wants to go into Triple Whale and try an agent, they know exactly where to go. And I know your earlier question, Eric, was around like pricing. The way our pricing is agents are all based on credits. All of our AI tools, so our agentic system, all based on credits. What we launched it was last year to the or excuse me, last month, the general public was the ability to use Moby for free. We have 3,000, every new user gets 3,000 free credits to try either chatting with your data after you connect your data sources, uh, or actually running an agent against that data. So proactively being able to be served those insights. Uh, and then from there, credits scale based on the agents, the number of agents that you have, and credits are determined by basically how much data is the agent looking at and how often is it running. So, like a weekly performance review, to its name, you probably don't need running more than every week, uh, or a monthly pacing agent. Again, like you're not running that super frequently, but a ROAS anomaly detection agent, you might want that running really frequently, every 15 minutes, every hour, to ensure that you're able to act extremely quickly, near real time, on those any anomalies in ROAS.
Okay, so and how much is a credit worth? Like, is it like one agent task that runs? Is that like one credit or is that like 100 credits or?
It really depends on the agent task. I'll say 3,000 credits is roughly like $30 or so. Credit scale as they continue, as the volume increases. But depending on the volume of data that you have, credits can range from like 80 credits per run to 200 credits per run, or to 100 credits per run, really, depending on kind of those factors around data volume and how
Yeah.
hard your agent's working.
Now, what is, walk me through, why would someone not just, get a premium package with DeepSeek or something and build out their own kind of data analysis, private data analysis that they could tap into, um, and really build it based around the one brand.
Yeah, a few reasons. The power of triple whale in itself is the fact that our AI in our like Moby is really trained on the fact of $65 billion of GMV and the benchmarks from that data. So it's not like we're sharing other brands' data with it, but it's looking at, hey, what does good look like in your industry? So that benchmarks are huge in e-commerce and retail. So Moby has a direct access to those benchmarks in real time, uh, and also can contextually know what ROAS, what CAC means, what what is a good margin by SKU if you're a clothing brand versus a skincare brand, and all of that is super important because you're working with an e-commerce expert. And then to build that, so if you wanted to go to a different platform and build that like an analytics and add AI on top of that, you need that unified schema to be able to map orders effectively, to be able to map events effectively, and to ensure. And that's really, really complex. Like I will say, took massive team of engineers over a year at Triple Whale. I mean, something that we're continuously advancing. Uh, Not really simple, and it still would never have the impact because you're missing that e-commerce expertise lens, those benchmarks, and those being able to tap into that to be able to provide like, okay, hey, this is actually what good looks like.
At a macro level, what are you guys seeing in the e-com space?
Yeah, we're seeing CPMs continue to rise in all of the main channels. We're seeing some new channels as we look over like month over month lenses. Uh, we're seeing new channels like Snapchat even have some interesting success for brands. We're seeing AppLovin continue to be an interesting channel for brands, and then we're really seeing brands go heavy into retention. So invest a lot into Klaviyo. They're sending more flows. They're sending more campaigns, looking to grow their subscriber lists, and really try and like understand, hey, how can we convert those two-time buyers into three or four-time buyers? Because if we're engaging with them, we know they're probably coming to our website. Hopefully, we're identifying them. So, in using ultimately an enrichment tool can help you do that, which Triple Well thankfully has some cool enrichment tools that we've added. So then you can ensure that, hey, I don't have to buy that customer from an ad platform each time they want to come to my site. I can reach them through a flow or through a campaign effectively.
Is Meta still the primary ad spend for most
It
brands?
is. It is, yeah. Meta is still king by a significant amount. We are going to be releasing some benchmarks soon ahead of Black Friday, Cyber Monday. But it really is like Meta, then Google. But we're seeing AppLovin, Pinterest, Snapchat all kind of fall into a bit of a competition there for third and fourth and fifth.
Yeah, let's say you're spending $100 in marketing on average. Is this like $80 is going to Meta, $15 is going to Google, and the five is going to AppLovin, Snapchat, and all the other platforms,
Honestly,
or kind
actually,
of?
yeah, that's pretty spot on, Eric. Not to cut you off, but yeah, like you must be reading our benchmarks. Uh,
I've just been in the game a long time, so
yeah, that's it. I think
it
you know it.
it's just kind of curious to see. I think you know, from my perspective, my friends who tend to be smaller brand operators can kind of get swept into hearing about someone having success in app loving or Snapchat or Pinterest or
Mhm.
TikTok or whatever it is. And you still got to remember that, that we're talking about 5% opportunity compared to, the opportunities on Meta. um, I know there's I was having a conversation with another ecom guy today about
Hmm.
someone just spending money on Meta without seeing success as well. So it's kind of this tricky situation where if a brand is running into a wall on Meta, from my perspective, it's like, well, there's so much opportunity on Meta. Like, how do we break through that wall to capture the opportunity that's on the platform, and when to know when is it time to, like, this is your total addressable market and you should start looking at bringing on Google and Snapchat and other platforms.
Yeah, it's a really good point. Like, at what stage is that right to diversify? I mean, I think your point brings up like a couple thoughts around, hey, how can we like even improve meta performance? Um, and really one of the key ways that we're seeing across all of our brands is like those who are testing and increasing their creative velocity in production are winning. Like that, like hands down. Like if you're able to iterate on your top performing ads at scale and do that across your static and your video ads, like the algorithm is working for you, and it's really, really, really effective. And so we're seeing those who are mastering creative. It's a direct correlation to your meta efficiency. Um, and then in regards to diversification, like to your point, it's like really trying to test. It's starting to then say like, okay, hey, if we're hitting some efficiency concerns on Meta, it's testing one or two of those other big channels, Google, TikTok, depending on who your target audience is and what stage of the funnel you're really looking to drive. Uh, and then being able to understand how those tests really improve, whether it's your overall ROAS, your NC ROAS, like really understanding what that core metric is and being really trying to hone in on how to run that test.
What kind of numbers are you seeing in terms of creative output at various brand levels? So, like, let's say you got a seven-figure brand. How many pieces of creative are they bringing to Meta compared to an eight-figure brand, a nine-figure brand?
That's a great question, Eric. I actually don't know that off the top of my head, to being
Okay,
honest.
yeah. I always wonder. It's. I think that's, you talk about finding success on Meta is building this creative benchmark where it's both iterative, new creative video and static imagery, and think about, like, how do I build a system that allows for that regular content, knowing that every week you're not going to have home runs, but through
Hmm.
a standard operating procedure for content creative, like, that's where the opportunity is going to be, um, in my opinion. But it's also like a grind to, like, at a certain point, like, how much new creative can you come up with? Is it
Yeah, it's a really good point. And I mean, I think that what's interesting now is there are a lot of cool tools for drawing creative inspiration and being able to search the meta ads library, and being able to even leverage AI creative generation to get you 70%, 80% of the way there, and then polish it with your creative team because it's definitely not perfect yet. But we're seeing a lot of really cool tools, one of which we actually just integrated into our platform. To basically search the meta ads library, and then you can use an agent in Triple Whale. But you can even do this outside of Triple Whale to understand like, hey, what's the ads that Nike are running, and then what are the elements that I want to draw inspiration from, and then even use AI to either build a creative brief for you based on those elements, or actually even just, hey, based on your all of your data in Triple Whale, your creatives that you already have exist, build me a creative based on this inspiration. We have an agent that does that that has been really cool for, I know there's a Dixon Flannel is a brand of ours based in Arizona. They've been using agents now since February. They use a lot of the creative inspiration tool to basically feed their creative team new ideas. And that's their media buyer doing that of like, hey, this worked with these brands that either we consider competitors or we consider best in class. Here's new creative ways that then you can take through the finish line, and expediting their handoff process. I think you said like 90% because instead of having to go into meetings, ideate what that could look like, come with research, it completely delays or eliminates that time so that you can really just focus on the creative strategy downstream and then the execution of it.
Yeah, one of the common things that people talk about Triple Whale or North Beam attribution companies is like it's not something that's necessary until you're doing 8 figures in revenue, or really, uh, you should take Meta to 8 figures and then start thinking about attribution beyond that. What it seems like Triple Whale is growing beyond the attribution. Is this Does the company see kind of like a pivot in the core products of Triple Whale, or is attribution always going to be kind of at the core of what it does?
Yeah, it's a good question. And honestly, something that when I came into Triple Whale 9 months ago, and I had known Triple Whale for years at Klaviyo, but had really known them, to your point, as an attribution tool. It's something that our founders, attribution was always in service of automation. Like attribution, it gives you better data that you can trust. So while it's still always going to be core to Triple Whale, the long-term vision was always automation. And so it's definitely an area that we're still investing in. Look, spoiler alert, we're going to be launching view through attribution for a lot of key partners. It's a huge investment area that's going to be kicking off soon. Uh, it's always going to be in service of building that better data and more trustworthy data so that your AI can automate more effectively and you can trust the agent's recommendations and output, and then eventually their decisions, where maybe you're just approving something or you set guardrails and let the AI do it automatically. Like it really is a core to Triple Whale, but it's core to the fact that we want to automate tasks that we believe should be automated.
One thing I wanted to touch base on is get a comment from you guys. As we talked about before I hit record, there's a little bit of drama with the launch of Moby. It seemed like there were some accusations of maybe uh, people not being what is it, discreet or showing affiliation with Triple Well. I know Nick Shackelford was very transparent and very clear. Uh, what was kind of the behind the scenes of that situation with the online drama on X?
Yeah, it was definitely no shortage of drama. But it was a what I will say a few different thoughts as it pertains to this is first it was like the planning that we had around this. We had even our CEO AJ, he'd even told the market externally, hey, when we did a Moby release, this was probably 3 months ago, someone was like, and we had a bunch of our existing users tweeting without us even asking. Someone was like, "Oh, I wonder if Triple Whale's paying all these influencers." AJ actually responded to that tweet saying, "Oh no, you'll know when we're paying for influencers." 3 months later, Moby was in a really good spot. We felt really confident with our customer usage, with our retention, with the outputs that Moby and outcomes that Moby was driving. And so we did a coordinated influencer launch. But what was really unique was so many influencers of ours, uh, we didn't pay them. We didn't, many of them, we didn't ask them to post on our behalf. Nick Shackelford, we worked very closely on. Of course, he was part of our coordinated effort. Nick Sharma, for example, obviously, of course, big in the e-commerce and retail space, has been using Moby agents for months, posted completely unprompted, and was very clear about, hey, I'm not being paid for this post. But we did absolutely have a coordinated influencer marketing campaign that we wanted to make a big splash. Well, we definitely learned that maybe doing it all at once, and some of the partners that we worked with, we would have loved. In the future, we're going to really ensure some of their content really aligns with some of their branding. It was the majority of the actual outreach was organic, and it was really interesting to see the responses, which was actually really endearing to see the responses of like our current customers kind of fighting in our defense. We were like at Triple L, we were watching it live and seeing like users. We didn't actually even really have to put out a statement because so many other users put it out for us. And so the fires that were happening, it was really interesting to see the response from current customers who were happy and seeing real success that we weren't even asking them to. It was surprising, transparently.
I would encourage the listeners to the show to look at what Triple Whale does from a marketing perspective, because I do think their strategy is very effective, going all the way back to what Rava started many years ago, and just their ability to engage with the community, connect with the community. leverage influencers. That's what we talk about all the time with our businesses, is how do we effectively develop relationships with people with influence. And it should be expected that the people who serve e-commerce operators are going to be using effective marketing tactics. And you would hope that maybe they're huffing their own supply and taking tips from Moby on what's going to work for them or not. Who knows? I'll let you.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Eric. Yeah, no, I mean it's such a good point, and community is so core to Triple Whale. Like that's why we still run the whaleys. That's why we really are so entrenched with the community and the ecosystem and our partners, because we know that like our success is only the success of our community. Like Triple Whale will fail, plain stop, if our customers don't succeed. And so we continue to invest in them, continue to ensure that we're showcasing cool use cases that even span beyond Triple Whale, because that's how everyone wins in e-commerce and retail. And we really want to continue to flex that community muscle. That's not going away.
Where can people support you, follow you, find you, reach out to you?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can find me on LinkedIn, Anthony Del Pizzo. You know
Just
LinkedIn.
shaking
I
my
know
head.
it.
Yeah, yeah. Nobody's on LinkedIn.
I
What is
know.
this?
Yeah, you can find me on LinkedIn, and then head to triplewhale.com. Check us out. Check out our socials. To Eric's point, we had some really interesting stuff happen last month. We're gonna have some really interesting stuff happen the next few weeks. So definitely watch closely.
Sweet. Thank you for coming on, Anthony. I enjoyed the conversation. Hopefully, our listeners enjoyed it as much as I did. This has been another e-commerce conversations. Cheers, and keep on growing.
Thanks, Eric. Appreciate it.